Hello, viewers. Welcome to a brand new episode of Elets Innovation Talk. I am Srajan Agarwal, your host for today and sub editor for Elets Technomedia. This year, we are proudly celebrating our 21st anniversary, marking over 2 decades of being India's leading B2B multimedia platform. Elets Innovation Talk is a unique series where we shine a spotlight on innovative leaders from various industries. These are the individuals who have not only led with vision but have also made some significant contributions to improving lives through the groundbreaking initiatives. Today, in this episode of Elite's Innovation Talk, we have with us Mr. Subhrangshu Kumar Neogi, co-founder and executive director, Trustmore Technologies, Escrowpay. Subhrangshu has served across various industry segments such as CPG, retail, telecom, financial services, media, etc. for over 2 decades. He has been associated with Escrowpay since 2017 as an individual investor and board member to start with, and then as a full time operating partner or co founder since late 2019. An award winning industry leader, his core expertise over the years has been at the intersection of strategic business development, marketing, and digital transformation to build notable challenger business and brands. He is now focused on building a more unique and differentiated fintech business in Escrowpay, catering to the underserved and unserved SMEs and emerging digital first businesses. Welcome to the Innovation Talk, sir. We are happy to have you with us today.
Thank you, Srajan, and thank you, Elets, for having me over. It's a real pleasure to talk to you, and through you, obviously, to your audiences here today.
Yes, sir. So, sir, to begin with, my first question to you would be, sir, as you have spearheaded the development of innovative solution for NBFCs, could you elaborate on how Escrowpay addresses the multifaceted challenges confronting NBFCs in today's dynamic financial landscape,
Sure.
particularly regarding the risk mitigation, regulatory compliance, and enhancing the operational efficiency?
Sure. I think before we jump into that, just a quick background. As you know, we are pioneers in escrow as a service in the country today. And we were the first company to actually, conceptualize and commercialize the concept of escrow as a service. I mean, it's very easy to actually get an escrow account from a bank. But the process is largely manually driven. It takes that much more time, and banks, by their own admission, we've seen, who are obviously our partners, solutioning is not really their core. As a fintech, as a technology layer, as a TSP, solutioning is our core. So what we do is we typically collaborate with our partner banks, build a digital layer or a workflow or and an ecosystem on top of the banking backbone and of regulated entities, and offer a solution to all our customers. So NBFCs, financial services, the lending ecosystem is a big target segment for us, right? And what we offer today is a trusted and a transparent ecosystem for all our customers, especially lenders. Because if you look at lenders today, they're fundamentally in the business of disbursals, underwriting, and obviously collections. Okay. Now, as per regulatory guidelines, etc., when you're lending, you need to lend directly to the borrower, and we don't really kind of sort of figure in there. But obviously, there are co-lending scenarios, etc., where we do kind of offer our opportunities, or rather our solution, to kind of have an escrow-based mechanism for co-lending scenarios. But really, our role kicks in when people are collecting, and collections becomes very critical, because if you look at the current scenario, the way the ecosystem has evolved, people are doing a lot of conditional based lending. Now, what I mean by that is cash flow based lending, invoice discounting, cash flow based financing, non collateralized lending, and so on and so forth. So once, let's say, in case of, let's say, to give you an example, invoice discounting, supply chain financing, once, let's say, the invoice matures from, let's say, an anchor, once that payment is realized, instead of it falling into the current account of the borrower, it gets sort of funneled and channeled into the escrow, which is powered by us for our lender partners and NBFCs. And from there, there is, based on a rule engine and based on our workflow, there's an instant sort of a collect and split mechanism that kicks in, right? So that way, it's a win-win for all. So there is a sort of a ubiquitous and a seamless dispersal that happens for the borrower, and based on his invoices that he's discounted, right? And the collections becomes very very efficient, because the lender clearly has a line of sight into the collections that are coming in, and obviously has a first charge, so the lender collects efficiently, and so it's a win-win therefore for the lender, for the anchor, for the borrower, in the example that I gave. And for us, we pretty much sit right in the middle as a technology layer, which essentially drives this entire mechanism, right? So that's how we are solving. I mean, that's how we are solving. We call ourselves, as a digital enabler, as a plugin, where businesses continue to do what they do best, which is grow their business, focus on their core operations, while leaving the entire transactional and collection heavy lifting, especially in the case of NBFCs, to experts like us, where we, through our unified digital award-winning stack, are able to do this real time and create a real time sort of a waterfall of the money flow or the transactional flow, and manage that for our partner clients.
Okay, got it, sir. So, sir, could you just brief me about the intricate mechanisms and advanced technologies employed within Escrowpay to ensure the integrity and confidentiality of the transactions by fostering trust between counterparties,
Right.
especially in the NBFC realm?
So to Shrajan, to just to kind of clarify to all your viewers today and to your audiences, the way I see it, and I'm a big fan of actually simplifying the complex. Whenever people think transactions, whenever people think financial, solutions, the first thing that more often than not comes to your mind is, "Kare, ye to bada complex ho." But in our view as a team, we've always believed in simplifying the complex, right? And what we believe is that we are an enabler. And as an enabler, we pretty much work at the triage of trust, transparency, and simplifying the complex of financial transactions. So if you look at our entire credo, or our motto, or our vision, the whole idea is to take the pain away from all transactions and keep money flow absolutely simplified and simple. Okay. So by leveraging our technology workflow, which we've obviously built, thought through, it's been completely sort of built in house. As I said, we were pioneers in this ecosystem, and along with, of course, partnerships with various ecosystem partners such as banks, trusteeship companies, PGs, we've created a unified stack. Okay. So if you're actually acquiring a solution from me, as a service provider, you don't need to go to multiple parties and ecosystem players. You don't need to talk to a bank separately. You don't need to talk to a PG separately. You don't need to talk to a trusteeship company. You don't need to really build a technology layer. So, as I said, our sort of motto for our client partners is that please focus on doing what you do best, which is building your business, while leave the heavy lifting to us. So we come in through an API led, we are an API first organization. Through RESTful APIs, we offer a very simple, agile solution which is customized per the needs of our clients. And in certain cases where clients want even a dashboard, that's also again customized, and they can operate through our dashboard as well. So it's a managed services model, you know. So when people take our solution, basically we offer them a integrated stack where they don't we do the heavy lifting for them, right? And this is completely managed by us. So even and there are deep integrations. So to give you an example of NBFCs, lenders, etc., our solution is not just an off the shelf solution. It is deeply integrated with their operating systems, with their loan operating systems, and so on and so forth. And there are multiple features. So there are multiple features like role based access systems, you know uh, uh, sort of reconciliation reports, real time reports, real time feedback, so that you have a one window that essentially gives you a complete view of how the transactional flow works, right? And this apart, we also have advanced features and functionalities on our console, which is a TMC as we call it, the transaction management console, where the client has an access. We obviously have a super admin access, which can actually throw alerts as per our AML checks and as per our KYC checks, etc., for any potentially suspicious transactions as well. Okay, so of course there are multiple such features and functionalities, and all of this is available as a singular stack, deeply integrated into the operating systems of our client partners.
Sir, it's really great to hear like Escrowpay is doing such a great job for the partners, like for the organizations that are aligned with them. So, sir, your leadership team in Trustmore Technologies has undoubtedly been an instrumental in driving the company's growth and success. So, could you share some pivotal strategies or initiatives you have implemented to enhance the market presence and establish a trusted partner in NBFCs, fostering long-term growth and sustainability in the industry?
Uh, I think. Look, as I said, till the time we so we've been in this journey for about 9 years, right? So and I've been associated initially, as you rightly said, as an investor board member. The company was originally conceptualized. The idea was originally conceptualized and fathered by my colleague, who's the co-founder and CEO, Ashwin. You know, when he incorporated the company, one thing led to the other. He built it brick by brick, and just to give you a history. Uh, he conceptualized the whole concept of escrow as a service before some of us joined as the initial angel investors and backers of the venture. And he stitched together relationships with various banks, put together the stack, and obviously the product, the offering has undergone multiple iterations over the last 8 to 9 years. Okay, so initially it was partially digital, more manual, then it became more digital, less manual. Okay, and now it's 100% digital. It's end to end digital, end to end, as I said, completely API driven. And of course people do have access to our dashboard. And like any other product, you never you keep building, you keep reiterating, you keep iterating, and you keep sort of improving on the offering based on client requirements, based on market realities, and based on how the landscape changes. And so have we. So we've not been an exception to this. But being pioneers, it has its own positives and negatives. There are pros and cons to both sides. The pros are that you are the torchbearer of the category, so any upside in the category, obviously you tend to benefit from it. The potential downside, or one possible downside in our minds, would be that it takes a lot of time to convince people. Because I think the most obvious question that initially when we launched a few years back, people found it hard to believe that escrow as a service, which was non-existent, how come we hit upon this idea? And people used to ask us this question, that look, if it was so simple and doing what you're doing, why didn't some of the other big boys do it earlier? So we obviously didn't have an answer. So when you're building a new category, I think it is an uphill task, it's a challenge, but it's also very exciting. And I think the biggest validation is that in the last 2.5 years, multiple players, including some very large payment players, have also come into escrow as a service. So which is a great validation for us. And one thing has led to the other. So initially, we were focused on a few sectors. Then we realized that the potential is there to actually extend it to other sectors, including financial services at large, NBFCs, lending, B2B platforms, and so on and so forth. So over a period of time, we realized, and in fact, if you look at our current complexion as a business, we are category agnostic, industry agnostic, and transaction type agnostic and size agnostic, right? And in the back end, as I told you, we work with multiple banks. Okay, and we provide an end-to-end digital layer as a digital enabler, with the objective of creating an ecosystem which is built around trust, transparency, and simplification of money flows. So that's what we are into. And obviously, as Trustmore, which is our corporate identity now, as you would reckon and see, we are going beyond escrow as a service, right? So escrow as a service was, our flagship product, is our flagship product, which is what we started our journey with, almost 8 9 years back. But now there are multiple such offerings, which essentially make the lives of our client partners simpler. So, for instance, we have a very interesting product around, invoice discounting, dynamic discounting. We also have a very interesting product, around a community that we built for SMEs, which creates a very holistic sort of a offering for SMEs. Recently, we've also been, licensed by the IFSC, the Unified Regulator in Gift City in Gujarat, for starting our cross-border play in 15 currencies, right, through a product called TradeX Border. So that's in beta stage. Then, of course, we have a couple of other products as well, and we would also like to share some of the new developments that we are working on, some new products which will see the light of the day very soon, and they're in an innovation lab. So to answer your question, yes, it's been a very interesting and a fascinating journey, exciting journey. We built it, brick by brick, with a very agile, very dedicated team internally, over the years, and of course, with the help of our various ecosystem partners, banks, and so on. And I think fundamentally, we believed in creating a co-creation model. I think a lot of people today talk about co-creation. We are very proud of the fact, and we say this with all humility, that whatever we've built over the years, I think it's been the result of not just our own, I would say, hard work and perseverance, and that of the team at Trustmore Escrowpay, but also co-creating with our various client partners. Because I think one of the core values that we take pride in, if you look at our value framework as an organization, is collaboration, right, and teamwork. So whenever we see a client problem, we are obsessed, as I call it, of stepping into the shoes of the customer, being empathetic to what they want, and then problem solving. So it's a co-creation model. In certain cases, we've taken a solution to the market for our clients. In certain cases, clients have come back saying that, look, this is the brief, this is the problem statement. Hey, can you create something for us? So that's how we've done it. Likewise, we worked with our bank partners to really co-create and build something which has enabled us to really win in the market. Because for banks and us, it's a win-win solution, right? Because we provide a digital layer, to our clients, and a digital solution, and banks really are the supporting backbone, or the basic sort of, I would say, the rail around which this solution is built for our clients.
Oh, got it, sir. So,
Does
sir,
that answer the question?
yeah, yes, sir. Correctly,
Okay.
yes, sir. Certainly. So, sir, as you have been at the forefront of navigating the evolving regulatory landscape governing financial transactions, how does Escrowpay adapt to the changes in the regulatory framework, ensuring compliance with emerging requirements while simultaneously fostering innovation and maintaining a competitive edge at the market?
I think it's a very good question. See, very recently I spoke at a panel where the theme was essentially around collaboration between fintechs, new age fintechs, and traditional legacy institutions, regulated entities such as banks. So, among other things, which is around creativity, co creation, building new products to the table, agility. One of the things that I also touched upon was compliance. Because see, whatever you build, Shajan, it is has to be compliant. It has to be within the ambit of the law, right? And the regulatory landscape is changing, and changing for the better. I think the good news is that the regulator has become very agile, and the regulator is cognizant of the fact that the consumer or the customers are looking for good solutions, agile solutions, albeit they have to be under the overall regulatory framework. So we are very particular that whenever we either beta a product, or we would want to kind of launch a product, the first or one of the key check boxes that we look at are our regulatory guardrails. Okay. And as philosophically, between Ashwin and myself and the management team, we are very clear that even if it means sacrificing some business, so be it. But regulations, governance, compliances, KYC, guardrails that have to be there. Because you have to be agile, you have to be responsive to the market, but we cannot be agile at the expense of sacrificing on regulations and governance, right? So even if you look at our own mechanisms, as a TSP, as a technology solution player, at times people do call us a little stodgy, and I'm quoting this real time. People say ki, Are boss, your regulatory norms are bank grade. I said, well, we don't know about that, but we make it, at least our best effort is to ensure that when we onboard a client or onboard a use case, we have our KYC norms, right? we necessarily do KYCs of every stakeholder. So we are, as you know, enterprise focused, B2B focused, right? But their underlying stakeholders, we do a KYC for them also, right? So whatever money flows are happening, whether it's a pay in or a pay out, whichever stakeholders are involved, we do a mandatory KYC check. Plus, when we onboard our enterprise clients and when we onboard our B2B clients, we do a thorough check of their antecedents, documentation, and so on and so forth. So these are as watertight as we probably could make them. Okay, and these obviously have been designed by our own legal team, plus an ecosystem of very senior legal eagles and legal brains in the country, under the ages of what the regulator recommends and under the law of the land. Okay, that apart, we also have very stringent AML and KYC checks. And even at a transactional level, even at a system level, at a platform level, as I just told you, a couple of minutes back, there are mechanisms and guardrails in place that in case there is, let's say, a transaction which could be quote unquote potentially suspicious, etc., the system, throws them as potentially not legit transactions. And we do have our own sort of ecosystem checks which make sure that the entire money flow is legit, the entire money flow is under the ambit of regulations and the law of the land. That apart, we are also registered with FIU now, because as a registered entity or a regulated entity in Gift City, etc., we've registered on FIU, and that also makes us responsible for flagging potential transactions that may not necessarily fit into the overall governance and KYC and compliance norms.
Thank you, sir. It's great to hear like Escrowpay is doing such initiatives in like the regulatory compliance framework. So, sir, moving ahead to my next question, sir, what aspirations or endeavors do you envision for Trustmore Technologies in the coming future, and how do you see the organization evolving to meet the changing needs and challenges for the NBFCs in the coming years?
So I think, look, NBFC is a big sector. There's a huge credit gap in the country today. So as NBFCs, lenders, etc., become more progressive, look at multiple, products, look at multiple solutions, to sort of bridge this credit gap in the country. I think somebody like us can be a perfect ally or a perfect partner for them, because as you would know, we work with a lot of large lenders today, a lot of large NBFCs today. We welcome all NBFCs to come and talk to us. We'll be more than happy to talk to them and problem solve, because as they continue to grow their book and as they continue to disburse, one of the critical challenges would be collections, right? So co-lending, obviously co-lending models are emerging, escrow is becoming a necessity, we step in there. And as new products are churned out by lenders, and they become more and more sort of I would say, as more and more they are democratizing this space through newer products, and hitting the credit gap, collections becomes important. That's where we step in. And I think the beauty is, we believe in complete co-creation, we believe in co-creating products with them, we believe in working in an agile manner as their perfect ally. So as they continue to grow, we grow along with them, right? And I think, again, our appeal to all our customers, including NBFCs and lenders, is that, boss, you focus on doing what you do best, which is growing your book, managing the health of your book, underwriting in the best possible manner, and collecting in the most efficient manner. And here we are as your partner, plugging ourselves in and shadowing you in your path to growth and enabling your growth agenda.
It's good to hear, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your insights and experience with us today. And it has been an absolute pleasure for to you have on Elets Innovation Talk. And I would also like to thank all our viewers for joining us for this enlightened episode of Elets Innovation Talk. And stay tuned for more inspirational conversation with visionary leaders who are making a positive impact in the world. Thank you so much, sir,
Thank
for
you
being
so
with
much.
us.
No, no, it's been an absolute pleasure. And it was wonderful talking to you, and thanks for giving me this opportunity. Hope to keep coming back and talking through you to your audiences. And I welcome, as I said, welcome all NBFCs, all lenders. We are always, we have our eyes and ears to the ground, and we would love to keep talking to them, keep engaging with them, and keep problem solving in the ecosystem. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you
Been
so
a
much for
pleasure.